Hello Kitty Roller Rescue. This is the PS2 version. I had an Xbox version but it died. Not the Xbox, the game disc. I was playing this on my PS3 but it died. Not the game disc, the console. As for the game, it is relatively straightforward as you might expect, because this game is targeted towards children or whatever. Space villain King Block, he starts trying to take over Sanrio and Earth itself with his evil forces. Hello Kitty's not having any of it. With the help of Karopi, she is equipped with a new suit and a magic wand to help drive back the invaders. Nifty. This game is very simple. Over the course of 16 levels, you'll be taking out enemy troops with your magic wand and special moves. Sometimes you'll skate around finding keys to open doors. It would do good to rescue your friends too, some of whom may join forces with you. Each character can be leveled up, which makes for some replay value. It isn't the best kind of replay value, but it counts. They don't really help out much. They usually get in the way of enemies, so they take a hit instead of you. It's either poor intelligence or genius intelligence. Presentation's great too, even down to the textures in the far background on the skybox. Most gamers won't notice things like hot air balloons, but that extra detail shows that this game was lovingly crafted by its developers, or rather it shows up other levels as you know which had more work done on them. The controls are a bit slippery, mind you, they're not the best. The curse of the drunken cameraman is present, so you'll be pressing the center camera behind character button a lot. Kitty tends to slip about, the platforming is in dire need of some tightening. Not too shabby, but it's shabby, you know? In terms of variety during the game, only the boss battles really change things up a bit. There's a stealth section later on, but getting spotted just makes more enemies appear. If you want a high score for defeating enemies, you have to deliberately get caught in every spotlight. Strange, isn't it? The enemy variety is somewhat sized, but they're all cylinders and cubes. In FMVs, triangular prism enemies can be seen, but nowhere else in the game. I reckon they were cut from the game during development and nobody bothered to remove them from the FMV sequences. The later levels have some variety, which is also nice. I hate playing a game where all the levels are the same or change very little. While the clay format barely changes, it's nice to know there's more than just generic town in this game. There is a forest, baseball stadium, an arena made out of sports equipment, a shopping mall, a theme park, and a spaceship. The environment does change, so you know what? Kudos to them for that. It's a short game, one of the few flaws. I beat it quickly without guides or a walkthrough. I even cleared up the remaining characters I hadn't saved. There are still more costumes to unlock, but that's time consuming. Of course, it's meant to be easy, you say, it's a game for children. I'd like to direct you to the plus symbol here, which means for people 3 and up, not just for children. Anyway, I don't agree with the box for this game because it tells an untruth. It tells me there in white on pink that Cinnamoroll is in the game. This cute little dog makes an appearance, it says. Well, he does, but only on one texture in the entire game. When his name is placed alongside My Melody and Karopi, who have big roles in the game as assistants, you can start to see my frustration. My favourite Sanrio character of all time is Cinnamoroll. This cute puppy first impressed me with his Game Boy Advance outing, and since then I have adored him. You shouldn't just sneak his name onto the box like this. You'll get people like me upset. I don't think it's a deliberate lie. Stuff gets cut from games all the time. So anyway, speaking of negatives, no lock-on system. Being able to lock onto enemies and strafe around them would be a huge improvement. If while locking on you can still dodge, you could skate as fluently and beautifully as the most elegant figure skater. When you're replaying a level, all the original text you were subjected to the first time is still there. Little cut sequences get in the way of action. When I'm grinding through to level up each of my partners or to get more coins, I want to play the levels without those interruptions getting in the way. Kitty has 2 special moves, and they're both serviceable, but sometimes I'm after something different than spin around like a cat on acid or destroy everything in my vicinity. Kitty could have really used something like a cupcake launcher or a plunger gun, something non-violent but fun to use. Levels can be too short. Not every level is long enough, some can be completed in 2 or 3 minutes without any hassle. Maybe I'm complaining about nothing, but when the game is good enough for me to warrant a playthrough, please do more to honour that. No Cinnamoroll. Like I said, his name is on the back of the box, but he only appears on one little blurry texture. If he's gonna get top billing, actually put him in the damn game. Seriously, you picked Runabouts over Cinnamoroll? Pathetic. So, Roller Rescue. All jokes aside, the game plays well. It is sometimes a bit boring, but it's charming enough that I played all the way through without stopping. In a word, this game is succinct. It knows when to stop and stops right there, not outstaying its welcome in any capacity. I congratulate all studios involved for accurately representing Sanrio Town and its inhabitants, despite the technical limitations of the PlayStation 2 console, with decently animated characters and enemies. The full motion video all looks fantastic, and there's an undeniable attention to detail with the whole project. But wait! After beating the game, having saved every one of Kitty's friends, and with the good ending, you can unlock Batsumaru as a playable character. This takes place after the game is completed. King Block has managed to clone himself and he's kidnapped Kitty, so now it's Batsumaru who has to save Kitty and the whole world as well. He's not on skates, so he's a little slower, but his frying pan whacks with a much bigger wallop. He can also breakdance, which is awesome. I'm not going to say he's worth the effort of unlocking, but at the same time, he gave me a reasonable excuse to play through the whole game again a second time. His dialogue is charming too. He mistakes Sanrio characters that look similar, and characters are shocked that Batsumaru's saving them instead of Kitty. It's very postmodern and I love it. I'm not going to insist that you track down Roll of Rescue, but if you see it cheap then you know you're in for a good time. It definitely kept me hooked for a few hours, and I was obsessively collecting every coin that I could see. It ticks many of the boxes I like to see ticked when it comes to video games, so I can't really say anything truly negative about the package as a whole. As for the Easter egg, that wasn't so good. It was over way too quickly and there's no way to replay the egg at a later date. However, I did unlock this cool looking cup. Until next time, if we live that long, happy Easter.